All right, welcome. This is Parenting 101. This is parenting tips for busy parents, practical tips for parents who want to succeed. Today we're going to talk about 4 mistakes that parents make.
Including us, for mistakes that we as
Abs-
parents have made and we had to learn from, of course.
Excellent. No, we didn't make all the mistakes, but most of them.
I don't know,
we,
really.
we weren't that terrible. So we always start with a dad joke, and I'm sad at the fact that for the last every single time that we've done it, actually, Kathy has won. I don't know why it is. I
It's the
think that
delivery. It's the delivery.
I think that you should rethink how you vote. I'm feeling like the American Idol person who never gets voted. I'm always voted off the island. So let's go, Kathy. You pick. Did she win or did I win?
All right. So, how do you make a tissue dance? You put some boogie in it. That's a Jonathan joke. Our son Jonathan would have loved that one.
That's a really bad one. So here's mine. All right. What do you call a cheese that isn't yours? Nacho cheese.
Oh.
Nacho cheese. Okay, you vote there. All right. Here's 4 mistakes that parents make. 4 mistakes that parents make. Why don't you start it off for us?
Okay, so first of all, those of you who are parents know that our children are like a sponge. Especially when they're little and they're starting to talk, they repeat everything you say. They will embarrass you in just the right moment because they'll say something that you said, and somebody's like, where did that little one learn to say that? Or where did they get that idea? Or where did they get an attitude? So that's one thing that we noticed when our kids were growing up, they're sponges. And then the other thing is, as they get older, then they become our mirrors. The things that we fight with them the most about, the things that we have conflicts with them most about, believe it or not, it's the things we don't like about ourselves because they're literally mirroring our characteristics and the things that they've learned from us or the mistakes and so forth. And so since we know this, there's 4 specific mistakes that we wanted to share with you guys today that I think would be a good launching pad. And they also very much relate to church. And so for us, it's really important that we're, good parents, not just that we're good Christian parents, giving our children the best example possible of a loving household and a loving Jesus. So mistake number 1.
Yeah, but before we get to mistake number 1, we've made mistakes of our own. Like one time we left our son by himself. We left our daughter by herself one time. It's like a trend here. So we're not speaking from the point of perfection that we got it all together. But these are some things that we learned along the way. Things that we've seen often enough to merit a video on YouTube. Well, first of all, thank you for watching. We're almost to 2,000 subscribers, and that's amazing in less than a month. So from the bottom of our heart, thank you. If this is valuable to you, share it with somebody else. 4 mistakes. Number 1.
All right, so number 1 is please, 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 let's all be very careful about how we talk about other people in the presence of our children. And then what makes it worse is we might talk about somebody in not the nicest way, and then we'll come up to that person and act like nothing ever happened, like they're our friend. Children look at that and it's very confusing to them. They're like, wait a second, weren't you just talking about them? So for example, let's say you just leave church and you're all driving home from church, getting ready to go home and have Sabbath lunch, or have lunch together, and you're in the car and you start criticizing the service,
the pastor,
or did you see what such and just was wearing, or did you see your hair, or did you see how they treated me? And we start talking about our fellow church members, pastor, in front of our children. That right there, I mean, we just left church, right? We just heard a message. We were just praising, thanking God. We were praying.
Well, this is more like a black church praising. If it's in another church, it's like praising. Amen.
So, we were just praising God, supposedly trying to take in the word of God to change our hearts, and here we go.
Yeah, a mistake would be to think that my kids are small. They don't know any better. But kids understand. And it's interesting that I've had conversations with parents who now wish they hadn't talked bad about other people because their kids saw them as hypocritical.
Correct.
All right, so that's number one.
Yes, and teenagers specifically can smell hypocrisy a mile away.
Yeah, it seems like they're not listening, but they have this uncanny. It's like they have like 5 brains that they can chew gum, be on their devices, listening to music, talking to their friends, texting, and listening to you criticize somebody else's hat.
Correct.
All right. Number 2. This is related to number 1, but in a different way. The second mistake parents make is to have a public persona and a private persona.
Yeah.
I know that in the family that I grew up in, the emphasis was on image. We have to have an image. We have to protect the image. We have to make sure people know that we're proper and prim and the Hernandez name, and we want to portray some things. But behind the image, there was some stuff going on. Then later on, we found out about. So it's really heartbreaking for me to see all of a sudden like a bomb explode, and there's this deep dysfunction that was happening, and nobody said anything because they wanted to protect the image. And I think that the goal here, and none of us are perfect. We all have things that we don't want to show the world, right? Sure. But the goal is to have your private person and your public persona to have as to be as similar as possible. Somebody put it this way: I want, when I die, the people who are closest to me to respect me the most. Right? In order for that to happen, we have to align that public persona with the private person, right?
And with us, well, this kicked in super fast. I mean, we had our children, and we tried very much always to have this, same life. And for being a pastor and a pastoral family, that could be really hard.
We had children. Like I also had children.
Yes, we had children. But if you've heard me speak in some of our other talks, our 2 foster girls came to live with us when our children were young. They were 5 and 7, and then we brought in 2 teenagers, 15 and 16 years old.
And it went from 2 to 4.
Exactly. We went from 2 children to 4 children.
Dynamics completely changed.
Correct. And then at that point in time, these are 2 girls who have had a terrible background in their own personal life, not Christian at all. They come into a pastoral family. Talk about pressure, right? They are now children of pastors, of a pastoral family. And for us, it was super important for us to have the same life, so they didn't see any kind of dysfunction or disjunction, or like, well, who are these people at home, and then who are these people at church? That was we had to really like wake up and remember and keep that in mind in our everyday life.
And by the way, they watch this, so I shout out to them because we love them. They're awesome. They're fantastic. Number 3, third mistake the parents make is that they see their children, as books to be written versus books to be read.
That's a good one.
Right? I want to, when I look at my kids, my main goal as a parent is not to impose my shortcomings so they can shine where I didn't. My goal as a parent is to discover what gifts, abilities, desires, goals, wiring God has made them with.
Correct.
And I often see people who get degrees and don't ever use the degrees because they were just doing for their parents.
Correct.
And I see parents who wanted to be a baseball player.
Right.
You have to be a baseball player. You have to be a baseball player. You have to be a basketball player. You have to be a basketball player. You have to be a doctor. You have to be a lawyer. And try to impose so that person who in themselves they live vicariously to their kids.
Correct.
I was just reading an article, Miss Kathy. I was just reading an article about the overscheduling of kids.
Oh, I remember.
So
we did that too.
Yeah. So I think that was us a little bit. Overscheduling. Quite a bit. They have their school, they have homeworks. Why did the teachers give so many homework? I don't know. Homework and school, and then sports, and then church activities, and then personal family activities. And the kids today are overscheduled. the article is making the point that it's great to be bored for a kid because when you're bored, it stimulates your creativity.
Wow.
So if you're always in a device, you're always in something, you're always trying to get busy. I don't want to be bored. I'm bored. That's great to be bored. All right. Wow. So this is the third mistake: trying to write the book versus read the book.
That's a good one.
Right? Can you want to say something about that?
Yeah. So my mother was never able to be a nurse, and unfortunately that was like her dream, and she came to my college graduation. I was the first one in my household to be able to go to college, and I remember very specifically, like, she was happy for me. She said, "Oh honey, I'm happy for you." She's like, "Too bad you didn't graduate as a nurse though." And I knew she said that not to be mean to me, but I knew she said that from her. I think she didn't get to see her dream come through with me. Mm-hmm. Of course, later in life, she was really happy that I was a teacher, and then now, of course, I do what I do as an event coordinator. But it was kind of it was a hard pill to swallow at that moment. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you know, if there's anything that make you feel good, you can treat me anytime.
Okay.
Not books.
No,
to be
correct.
Written. Books
to be read.
To be read.
Correct.
All right.
And then the last one is oftentimes we make the mistake of, when our kids get in trouble, we take away the things that they like, and sometimes those things that they like are things of church.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll punish them.
Pause. Not everybody that's watching this.
Goes
to church.
Correct.
But so this is just for church people.
Okay.
So you're a church going person. This is for you. If not, you can just skip to the last little bit of the video. But it can apply to school or really positive things, right?
Correct. So church should be a positive experience. Mm-hmm. And my husband and I, we've always tried to make church, and for our children, something that they could remember with good memories, not something that was negative. So sometimes, as parents of Christian households, we see that our children may enjoy something at church, and when they get into trouble, what we'll do is we'll say, "Well, you can't do that." In my case, I remember, and it was because I was really involved in church. Once I got baptized and got into the church, I was in the choir. I would go and practice for skits. I would be participating in all sorts of different things. And my parents, when I would get in trouble or be rebellious at home, they would take away these church things from me. And so I remember becoming rebellious about it, because I was thinking to myself, isn't this a good thing? Why are you taking this away from me?
Yeah, the summary of this is, don't punish your kids with church. Don't do it. Don't do it. Knock, knock, who's there? Don't do it.
Correct.
Don't punish your kids with fine. You can't go on the camporee, or you can't go to the social, or you can't go on the outing to Six Flags. Church is to be enjoyed, not to be endured. If you want to associate positivity with religion, positivity with Christianity, God is a positive God. God is a blessed God. God is a great thing. We've enjoyed the fact that we go to church, and spirituality has been an integral part. But not everybody had that experience. Why? Because anything that had to do with church, you had to be silenced, and we use pellizcos, pellizcos, to keep them there, and punish them with church, punish them at church. So there's a negative association.
Correct.
Positivity. Don't punish them with church. All right.
We wanna. I'm sorry. I was gonna say.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say we want to end with our.
I was gonna go that.
Thank you, sweetie. We want to end with our biblical thought. We always want to tie it in all together, and I'll read the verse, and I'll have my husband give his final words. But today's text for us to focus on is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 6. It says, "Fathers, and of course mothers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord." All
right, great counsel from a guy who knows a lot. Don't exasperate him. In other words, don't make him mad for no reason. Right? It's often not quoted. We quote about the obedience from kids to parents, but this one we just skip over. But I hope that this was good. If this is a blessing, share it with somebody else. Subscribe to the channel and let us know what other videos you would like to hear on the Parenting 101, practical tips for busy parents. May you have a great day. And remember to vote for me.